everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm outside Goodison Park with Charlie. You can actually see the players' bus, the coach. So if you just turn the camera, the players are just about to leave. We've seen a few of them leave already. Enzo Fernandez, Petrovic, obviously very pissed off, mate. But nobody's more pissed off than us.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what? Like, it's gone past the point of being angry about it. Just used to it now. You just kind of, it's what you expect to happen, and when it doesn't happen, it's a surprise. This is where we're at right now, mate. We're a shit team. It's as simple as that. We are average from top to bottom. Upstairs we're average, in the dugout we're average, on the pitch we're fucking average. And that's being polite. Really, we're shit from top to bottom in all departments. This team's simply not good enough, mate. I'm no more of this false positivity, you know. We are where we deserve to be, because that's how good we are right now. And it's not very fucking good, mate. The club's lost its soul, the club's lost its identity. And we just look absolutely fucking clueless on the pitch. And the reality of the situation is, mate, these wholesale changes that we've made very, very quickly are fucking us in the arse real hard right now, because these players are not good enough, mate. This team and this squad are not good enough to compete at the level required right now. And the problem is, mate, we're too far down the road to go back now. We've committed to this, and now we have to hope that somehow we can find our way out of it, whether it's through luck or whether these guys just one day get up and suddenly decide to start playing fucking football and maybe reach the potential that they're going to get to. But look, a manager absolutely has to take responsibility, but this is far deeper than a managerial problem, mate. This is a problem from top to bottom, everyone included. So, yeah, it's just a fucking mess, mate, and it's just draining.
I mean, it says a lot that you're not shouting, that you're not more animated, because we've tried that approach. You don't seem to get a response from the players either way.
Well, what's the point, mate? You know, like, what are we supposed to do? You know, we travel up and down the country. This has been a busy week. You know, United on Wednesday, which was a fucking disgrace. This was a tiny bit better, but that's not exactly saying much. It was still a disgrace. Yeah, you know, sometimes you wonder why you do it, but you do it because you love the team. And when you're not getting anything in return, it is hard. And I'm not saying that the guys aren't trying. I'm not saying that they don't care. Right now, this is our level. This is our level right now, mate. We are a mid-table side. And people can say, oh, you know, we spent all this money. Money's not enough anymore, mate. Everyone spends fucking money in this league. The recruitment we've done is simply not good enough for the requirements that we need right now. These players aren't good enough to perform at the level required right now. The makeup of the squad is all wrong. The plan, in theory, you know, to build a team full of young, exciting talent is a good idea. The execution has been fucking horrific, mate. You know, when you look at, you know, throwing out 20-odd players, we knew that the clear-out needed to happen, right? Absolutely agree the clear-out needs to happen. But you've got to gradually phase players out, mate. We've tried to build the top floor of the building with no fucking foundations in there. We've just tried to skip the queue. Normally you phase a few out over a number of years and you bring more in. You have an experienced core and then you blood a few youngsters. You've got it the other way around. We're full of youngsters with one or two experienced players and we wonder why we're so shit. Like, I'm not saying that the manager's not blameless. He absolutely is. He's not getting enough out of this group of players. But at the same time, are we really surprised that we're this shit?
But we don't even know what the players are capable of because they're so inexperienced in the first place.
No, but this is their level right now, mate. How many times have we seen this team play well this season? Twice. Spurs away, once we finally worked out how to break down 9 men, and then Man City at home. Those are the only 2 games this season where we've been half decent. Maybe first half against Fulham away, okay? And maybe second half against Burnley. But to be honest, mate, this is the level of these players right now. I've got no doubt that some of these players will go on and be top players, but right now, these players are not fucking good enough to perform at the level that is required to get Chelsea into the top 4, top 5 positions this season. Simply not good enough, mate.
What is good enough?
None of it's fucking good enough. None of it is good enough right now. We are not. I don't recognise this club anymore, mate. What the fuck are we? You know, but these guys have come in with a good plan, ambition, spending money. I appreciate it. I think they've greatly underestimated how difficult it is to be competitive in the Premier League, and there's a reason why a strategy like this has never been done before. Because the chances are it doesn't fucking work. Or if it is going to work, it's going to take 3 or 4 years to work. But what does that mean? What does that mean for the here and now? You know, we can't keep saying, oh, this team might be good in a couple of years and pretend that these results don't matter right now. These results fucking matter. You know, you can't hide behind the process the whole time when we're getting shit results week in, week out. It's unacceptable. And I don't know where we go from here, mate, because we're toothless in attack, we're shit at the back, and we've got no bite or desire in midfield. And mate, when you're a soft-centred team, you've got a fucking massive problem. And right now, mate, there's not a single good thing about this football club anywhere, from boardroom to fucking pitch.
We had 3 injuries, as far as I'm aware. Cucurella, James, and then Sanchez came off with a knock as well. I mean, it's just more problems that we don't need.
Mate, when are we going to start having a serious conversation about Reece James? When are we going to start doing that? Another hamstring problem. When are we going to start having a conversation about him, mate? You know, he was made the captain. I don't care how good you are. Like, if you are not available, if you can only play 2 or 3 games and you're fucking missing for 2 or 3 months, you're fucking useless. I don't care how good you are. It's pointless if you're not available on a consistent basis. It's now making a mockery of making him captain right now. I get it, you know, he's Chelsea through and through and whatever, and it's not a bad captain choice, but the reality of the situation is this guy's turning into fucking Jack Wilshire, mate. Injured left, right and centre, and you feel that he's not going to reach his potential that he's got because he's always fucking injured. How many hamstring injuries do you have to have before you decide that surgery is a good idea? Just have the fucking surgery in the first place, be out for the length of time and then come back, and the chances are you probably wouldn't keep having these setbacks. Mate, the captain's armband's being passed around like a fucking porn star. Like, we've had more captains and wins this season. It's like, oh, who fancies it this week, lads? It's fucking ridiculous, mate. And look, it's hard because Reece, I love Reece James, but there comes a point now where you're just like, when is enough in this situation? When do we think about we need a fucking captain who's going to be available to play 9 weeks out of 10? And we simply fucking haven't got that. We'd be lucky if Reece James is captain for 9 fucking games this season, mate. It's not good enough. It simply isn't good enough. I don't care how good a player you are, and he's a fantastic player. But you're useless if you're always fucking injured.
And obviously we're talking about the execution from the players. I mean, where can the manager improve to help the players perform better? Because we were quite happy with the starting lineup. I mean, I know I was. And, you know, I couldn't really ask for much more from that point. But when the game kicks off, we have a few setbacks and we just crumble.
Yeah, mate, do you know what's weird, right? Like, you look at the lineup today. Everyone was happy with it. A lot of people have been calling for Silva to be rotated out. A lot of people were saying that, you know, that Mudryk should have started instead of Sterling. That's exactly what we got. And we started reasonably brightly, you know. Mudryk was having a lot of success against Ashley Young, a few decent pullbacks with a couple of shots on goal. No real chances created. But then as the game wore on, mate, we're just toothless up front. We were not winning the 50-50s. We were soft in the midfield. When are we going to start having conversations as well? I'm not writing them off, but Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, this is not good enough. This is not good enough, mate. You know, we're second best in midfield battles most weeks right now with over £220 million of players in midfield. Not doing enough. I've got no doubts that these guys are top players, but right now, mate, they're not doing the business for us, and we need much better, and we're simply not getting it. In terms of the manager, look at today and think, fuck, there was loads of things he got wrong with the lineup, or there was loads of things wrong with the in-game management. The subs that he made from the bench, Sterling and Jackson, were the only 2 subs that we could really do, given the players that were available. These players aren't performing well enough, but he's not getting enough out of them either, but I don't have the answers as to how to get more out of them. I can't look at this game specifically today and think, shit, the manager was completely wrong on X, Y, or Z situation, because I don't know if he was. There was just nothing. I don't know what was the game plan today, mate? Let's be honest. What was the game plan today? Can you tell me what the game plan was?
I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. I generally don't know. I don't know if we're trying to counter. I don't know if we're trying to press. It looks like some players are capable of it, some players aren't. I suppose if you are going to pinpoint one thing on the manager in terms of the way we sat out, I'm a little bit surprised how deep Gallagher was, and we played Enzo further up as a 10, which has never worked.
No, I mean, well, we did. Gallagher started forward, then he sort of rotated it a bit, and Enzo went a bit further forward, like we saw earlier in the season. Doesn't fucking work. I'm not really sure why we were doing that. Look, if we're scraping the barrel, I thought Mudryk had a decent game, and he looked a threat. We didn't get the ball to him anywhere near enough in that second half. Palmer was trying to make things happen. Other than that, man, I thought Badiashile was okay at the back. Other than that, you know, like, that's really scraping the barrel for positives. You know, this is not a positive conversation to be having. This is not a positive situation that this team's in right now. And I don't know where we go from here, mate. People will be saying, oh, sack the manager. That's not going to do. What's that going to do? Absolutely fuck all. People say that because it's the only thing that they can influence. The owners aren't going anywhere for 10 years. These players aren't going anywhere. So the only thing that people feel they have some sort of control over is replacing the manager. But let's be real. This is a deeper problem than just the manager. You replace the manager. A, who's going to want to come to this football club? Secondly, it's going to be the same. You're just going to be giving the same problems to someone else. You might get a 1 or 2 game bounce and you might pick up 1 or 2 wins, and people bury their head in the sand and pretend, that all the problems are gone, and then they come back, and then what we do, we have the same fucking conversation again. Whether we like it or not, we have got to somehow make it to the end of the season with this manager intact. But right now, as each week goes by, you have to feel that this is getting less and less likely, but we have to ride out these tough times because we cannot keep going round in fucking circles. I'm sick of hearing people saying, oh, this is not the old Chelsea. The old Chelsea's been and gone now. That's gone in the history books. This is a new Chelsea now, and we're trying to do something that isn't working right now. We can't keep going back to old Chelsea. It doesn't fucking exist anymore. People need to move on and accept that that's gone. This is where we're at right now, and try and think of some actual practical solutions that are going to try and improve this team, because right now, just screaming to get rid of the manager is not going to fucking fix anything.
Well, it's an interesting one as well, because, people say, oh, if we got Tuchel back, he would do a much better job than Pochettino.
Fuck off. It's so boring, mate. Honestly, like, Tuchel was fantastic for us. Let's not pretend that Tuchel would be the saviour in this situation. He absolutely wouldn't. He probably wouldn't even last a season at Bayern. And we were on a downward spiral under him anyway. So maybe it might not have been quite this bad, but it wouldn't have been any better than what people are expecting. People are just stuck in the past with all this nostalgia and stuff. People are not getting with the fucking programme and realising we are shit right now, and no manager is going to change that.
Any message to the fans watching at home? Because, I was speaking with Matt earlier, we're going to keep coming up. Some people would say why, and also, where can we actually expect to see some improvements? Because it's been an up-down process throughout, but now it's just a steady decline. And December's always been that way. I was hoping things could change. It seems like we are reverting back to the old Chelsea in the sense of December. But how long can we go on this run before it's inexcusable what we're seeing in terms of the management? Because we're back Potter for so long. But where is the limit? Where is the line?
Oh, mate, fuck knows where the line is. Bring back the Winter World Cup so we don't have to have a December period like this. But do you know what, mate? I'm never one for calling for the manager to go right now, because it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't make sense, in my opinion, for the reasons that I've given. At the same time, though, when does enough become enough in terms of, you can't just stand there and say, oh, it's all right to lose every week because it's a process. It's not. You have to show something that we can cling on to, and signs of progress that we can look at and think, do you know what, despite some bad results, you can see the direction this team's going in. In the early part of the season, there was some optimism, and you could see in certain performances, this is what Chelsea are trying to do. Right now, mate, we're going down, 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 down. And you don't know when the next up is going to be. And if we were to lose every single game for the rest of December, which is quite possible, Sheffield United, Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, then we've got Palace, then we've got Wolves away Christmas Eve, then we've got Crystal Palace, and then we've got Luton away to round the year out. If we were to get no more wins this month, then you have to start questioning that position. Like, even if you don't, even the staunchest Pochettino defenders, you'd have to start questioning it if we weren't to pick up another win this season. Like, I think already, mate, I'll be honest, I was one that said at the start of the season, I think we can qualify for the Champions League. Whilst it's not mathematically gone, I think it's done now, mate. I think it really is. I think it's finished, mate. Maybe Europa League or Conference League at best, but we're just not seeing any signs of progress over the last few weeks. None. Absolutely none. It's a worrying time for the club. Where the fuck do we go from here? Like, are you confident of winning any of these upcoming games? Because I'm certainly not.
No, absolutely. I'm definitely not.
So I don't know where we go from here, mate. We're in a difficult situation. We've not been given the ownership have not given the manager the tools to compete at a better level than we are right now. People can sit here and say, oh, these players are better than the position we're in. This is not a small sample size. This is 15 games. It's clear that these players are not good enough to be in a better position than we're in right now. That's just the reality of the situation, mate. So can people stop saying that this team is better than where we are in the table? Because we absolutely fucking aren't right now. There's a large body of evidence to suggest these players right now are not fucking good enough to do a job for this team.
Thank you very much, mate. Pleasure.